Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy, Love and Light. Today, I think that it's important that we remember that forgiveness and trust, they go hand in hand, but only so far. Because trust is something that's earned, and forgiveness is something that we allow ourselves the burden from. Now, if we're extending that forgiveness to a person, a place, a situation, a circumstance even, then that's where trust comes into play. Trust is something that has to be earned, which means that the other energy needs to prove through continual responsive motion in an upward manner, meaning try to do better, try to be better, in order to show that trust is something that's starting to be reformed. Now, that doesn't mean that you, on the other side of the equation, jump right in and say, okay, well, I trust that you're starting to repent, so that must mean that you'll be, on the up and up the whole way through. But that's not necessarily the case, because you have to remember that the negative energies that try to control and suppress everyone and get them to, go against each other are still sending seeds of doubt, anticipation, or aggravation, irritation even, to the energies, trying to get them to falter on their road to establishing and re-achieving trust. So keep that in mind, and always respond with your energy and the blockages that come your way. Meaning that if the other energy is starting to rescind, recline, restep, or even revert, then that's when you need to hold your boundaries even higher and not unforgive, because you release that burden for yourself more so than the other energy. But to recognize and realize that the partnership is not an equal basis, meaning that they're not really in the movement of creating and renewing and rebuilding trust, which may or may not either keep your boundaries up or, compromise through their movements to maybe open up. But I also realize that trust is something that we choose by the motions, the movements, and the actions, or the responses rather, that the other energy is leading toward. And we can reflect and observe, calculate, and even take notes. But that doesn't mean that trust has been reestablished. That can take months, years, even longer, depending upon what your interaction level is. But if you're looking inward and you're saying that you forgive a piece of you that may have been an issue for you, and trust isn't something that's earned automatically within you, you have to also work on heading those issues that you needed forgiveness for, self-forgiveness, if you will, right? And alchemize that into a doable situation that will gather up all of those energies and recharge them, reform them into a position that you actually believe in yourself and your worth and your direction, which allows you to self-trust yourself a little bit more each day when you walk in the path of holding a choice, keeping it, being motivated, determined, and extremely resilient in every movement that you make, allowing your perception to broaden and become larger, grander, if you will, with every step you take. And you will soon see that what used to be, an issue for you is no longer, because you now have the ability to trust yourself, your movement, and your direction, your inner knowing, and your intuition. Everyone in the spirit team is touching me all at one time, and I feel the pressure in a loving manner, filled with compatible compromise and compassion. And they all say that they are encouraging you to forgive and to allow trust to reform, and then to become a sturdy, stable tool in your bag, so that in the future, should anything come your way that forgiveness may be needed for, you've got the building blocks in order to establish stronger self-boundaries and to extend leniency to the other energy, allowing them the ability to walk in the manner in which trust is reforming and rebuilding. And if you don't see that happening, then, send them healing energy, but don't engage. Don't respond in the manner in which they think they should receive in a world that trust has not yet been rebuilt. You're in control. That's where self-empowerment and self-love come into play, because these are very important aspects of forgiveness and trust. Whether it's self-forgiveness and self-trust, or it's forgiveness toward another energy and trust rebuilding, if that's a direction that the other energy wants to initiate, in order to reestablish, maybe even enhance and make better a situation, a placement, a mindset, or even a reality that once you and the other energy may have shared or been engaged with. Whether it was a bad environment to start with, or if it cultivated over a period of time where the steps that you took led you to your inner realizations and your inner strength and your divinity, to recognize the sovereignty that has always lived within you, but then had the ability to enhance, establish into your reality through your movements and your responses, and the motion that you take upward and forward in order to gain more clarity, wisdom, knowledge, which gives you a more steady, reliable, foundation-based discernment, where you can truly use your free will, your critical thinking, and your emotions on an equal level in order to be able to see past what someone may want you to see, but see through that into what the real reality is, and then what it can be should they decide to follow the steps. And you already made a mental map because you once followed those same steps. So you know what to look for, and you know what to stay away from. You know what to add healing energy toward, through, and from, or for. So that's where you use your insight and your experiences in order to help you map out whether trust is being re-earned back, or if it's just something that is spoken but never acted upon, or at least very minimally, thinking that a little bit is a lot and that they did enough, when in reality you had to walk through every one of those steps and you had to come out on the other end a better version of you, because you chose to see, to recognize, to remember, to respond positively, and allow the love and the light to settle within you, through you, and from you. So that's what you look for when you're looking to establish a rebalance within trust between you and another energy. If you don't see that, then that just means that they're still not ready. That just means that if you continue to cohabitate or be a part of or surrounded by this other energy, that you see it for the face value that it is, that it has no depth and it has no positive direction. And as long as you hold your boundaries high and you do not allow that to infiltrate or infect or add a road blockage to your forward movement, then you would see each action being sent to you as what it actually is, and where the energies actually came from, and what their intent truly is. Don't look at these things and think that you're misjudging, that you should be more willing, more open, more guiding, more loving. Because if you can't love yourself first and hold up yourself boundaries, especially when trust is being reestablished, if that's the direction you're headed, or if distance is what's going to separate you and the other energy. And then how long will that distance lay? And what will you feel at the end? Will you still hold yourself boundaries? Will you still find your worth in your choices, your movements, and your decisions? I truly hope so. Because once you recognize your value, then you should never let someone undermine it or cut it down. And when you look at forgiveness and trust, and you've forgiven yourself from the burden that you maybe once carried, and you have the ability to completely trust your inner self, your divine guidance, and your divinity, then and only then will you be in a perfect position in order to see what may be presented around you from additional energies that may be looking toward reestablishing some type of a trust. But just keep in mind that the signs, the symbols, and the synchronicities, and the energy read, as long as you choose to reflect and observe and truly recognize the direction or the lack thereof, or the whatever movement they may be making, whether it positive or negative, is your clarity being shown to you so that you can use your discernment properly to keep your energy safe, because you now recognize the value that you hold within you, your environment, whatever the situation is, and your existence. My lovely collective, no matter where you are, I learned the hard way that trust isn't something that should be taken for granted. That if someone gives you an inch, it's not like they're starting to give you an inch within that mile, which leads to higher and higher growth, but they just think that that little bit of inch is enough to cover the mile without actually having to put the work in. And to me, that's very sad, because then that means that those other energies really don't carry as much value within their own worth, that they're not recognizing all the positive, uplifting things that could brighten and enhance their own future, let alone others around them, just by their own insights and experiences and sharing them through their emotions, their movements, and even their intent and their words. But that doesn't mean that you should be stopped in your tracks. You should continue to go forward and continue to integrate your spiritual side into your 3D existence, and continue to allow your aspects of who you are and what you came here to do, and that trust is a virtue and a value that needs to be earned, not freely given. Then you would have now become more aware of what position you actually hold and all the power that you truly do embrace and that you have. My lovely collective, I can't wait to hear your stories regardless of accomplishment or failure, because that just means that there's a lesson that illuminates the value that you truly are when you recognize those pieces within you and you apply your own existence toward true resolution and true understanding and true evolution and development, whether it be spiritual, mental, physical, or emotional. My lovely collective, I'm always sending you positivity, love, and light, and encouragement. And I do this through my insights, and I remind you to remember your own insights, the own road that you traveled, and the journey that you took to get you where you are right now, because I am very proud of each and every one of you, because this is not an easy road to walk. This is not an easy destiny to follow. There's a lot of temptation in between, and it comes from a multitude of ways, of different types of energy, forces, and unfortunately, situations that we may think could be coincidental, but keep in mind, nothing is coincidental, nothing is random, and everything happens for our betterment, to help us, to assist us, and to catapult us into a new timeline. Confirmation by the doggy. He's also encouraging you to take a step into what you may have thought was a limitation and blow the lid right off of that and find your worth and recognize your own value. And remember that trust is something that is earned, and forgiveness is something that leaves the burden of whatever it was that you already completed, understood, comprehended, recognized, remembered, as an asset to your betterment, to your higher consciousness, to your true divinity. Then you would have become more aware and would have ascended even higher. And I am very proud of you for that, because I always knew you could do it. And everybody who's watching, who's waiting, I'm sending you extra energy to look toward what may be a pain point and utilize your alchemy in order to make that a pleasure, power, prosperity, positive point. And you have the ability to do that. We all do. I do this every single day. And whenever some situation comes my way, regardless of what it may be, I always find the value in that and reverse it around and say that I am worthy and I know my value. And I am very ready and willing to receive the enlightenment, the guidance, the direction, and the divinity waiting for me to enhance my own divinity through my responses, my movements, and the motion that I take. And the fact that I'm ready and willing to share it all with everyone, to remind everybody about the interconnectivity that lays between you and me, you and everyone, me and everyone. When we remember that we are light essences, pure energy forces, experiencing humanity in a human body, in a 3D existence, on a wonderful planet, or a piece of earth, piece of ground, whether it be enclosed in a dome, literally, like a snow globe, or if the dome is a cage that is considered to be the matrix, that is holding us and suppressing us and keeping us small, continually sending negativity our way. But awareness and ascension will wipe that all away, and we will always remember that we are in control of our destiny and the future that we would like to bring into place. And sometimes that starts with extending forgiveness to other energy beside ourselves, but only to release the burden of the situation, to accept and enhance the understanding of the value and the worth that has always lived within us. But now we let our inner divinity shine bright on the value that we actually are. And we present that and carry that forward. And understanding that value comes with recognizing our self-boundaries and recognizing or responding with, if you will, whatever energy comes our way through our clarity and our discernment, gathering up all the insight and using all the experiences that we've gained from our past endeavors, regardless of what they may be or regardless of what the road may have taken. The lesson usually remains the same. Whatever happened, did you learn? Did you respond the same, or did you try a different way? Did you look for higher guidance? Did you reflect and observe from your inner self to broaden your own horizons, to extend your reach? Not just to blindly trust or blindly forgive, but to lessen every burden that you may have thought was yours to bear, and recognize that trust is something that's earned. and that it's not freely given. My lovely collective, no matter where you are, I know you've got this. Your hearts are warm and bright, and your energy is vibrant, and your aura is magnificent. Trust in you, and if you can't, figure out how you can. And if you need help, I'm always here to direct you. My lovely collective, you are the best person in your story, and I cannot wait to hear what adventures came your way or will come your way, and how you were able to see clearly and to resonate with the positive energy and to walk away or transmute the negativity into a doable situation that will catapult you into your highest evolution. My lovely collective, from me to you, I'm always sending love and light, peace and joy.